The Winnipeg Jets have the NHL absolutely horrified as they have moved to 8-0 following a massive win against the Calgary Flames that saw a bunch of players shine, and most notably Cole Perfetti. We're going to break down the crazy game and discuss what it means as the Winnipeg Jets are chasing history now after winning 8 straight games. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, if you're a part of the percentage that aren't subscribed to the channel, about 70% of you who are watching aren't, smash that subscribe button. This is the place to be for daily NHL content. But if you're a Jets fan watching this, we're going to be making a ton of Jets videos. So stay tuned for all that on this channel. And well, Darius, we made a video earlier today about the Winnipeg Jets, and we saw a lot of your feedback in the comment section about how this team is and all those things. They went out there tonight and played an absolutely, it was a battle. It was a battle against a Calgary Flames team that wasn't expected to be very good coming into the year. They started off very hot, beat some very good teams, most notably the Edmonton Oilers to start the season. And boy, did they come out today, and they were battling. But the Winnipeg Jets, quite frankly, Darius, are just better. They won 5-3, and let's not forget, this was with Eric Comrie in net, not Connor Hellebuck, who is now going to be 3 or 4 days rested for the matchup on Monday against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Darius, what a game. We're going to dive into the box score and discuss just everything here because I have a lot of thoughts. And shout out to Dylan Sandberg, a guy I mentioned and shout out earlier today for getting himself on the stat sheet, making me sound and look good. What a game from everybody. And Cole Perfetti with the game winner. What a night to be a Winnipeg Jets fan. And that blue line contributed heavily as well.
What a game from the Winnipeg Jets, continuing their streak here, now 8-0 on the season, and now in third place for longest winning streaks to start a season in NHL history. They're creeping up to the record there at 10, obviously, and they could help themselves by beating the Toronto Maple Leafs on Monday, closing on that Leafs record from 93-94. But to back up a second, like you said, the game tonight against the Calgary Flames. The Flames, after not being a good team last year, moving into this year, have started the season very hot, no pun intended. And, coming into this game against the Winnipeg Jets, you really wanted to see a good performance out of everybody. And again, the Jets without their starting goaltender, but Evan Comrie in net, still a pretty good goalie, a very serviceable backup in the National Hockey League. And 3-3 with less than 4 minutes remaining in the third, and you get huge performances from guys like Cole Perfetti, right? Beautiful shots. So love to see that. And like you said, Dylan Sandberg, right? Shout out to him as well, coming up big. He's been a revelation this season on the back end, and again, getting on the score sheet tonight. And lots to like in terms of goal scoring. And Mason Appleton, a nice little surprise performance, not only tonight, but this season as well, because we'll get into it as well. But the Jets have a couple guys so far this year. I'll bring it up here. 8 guys so far this season that are point-a-game players. Not many teams have the luxury of saying that. They've been brilliant so far this season.
Yeah, and shout out to Eric Comrie again for coming in and just shutting the door. And also, Calgary Flames, I mean, they put up a fight. But there's a lot of things to go over in this game. Now, obviously, we talked about the blue line. We talked about a bunch of different things here. There was a lot of players who stood out for me. And when you're looking at the impact chart, you're just looking at the team in general here. You look at some of the stats. The blue line, let's start with those guys because I want to give a huge shout out again to Dylan Sandberg. He was he probably was the best player on the ice tonight. He had a goal. He shut down everybody on D. Great, the penalty kill. Everything was great out of the entirety of the blue line. But Neil Pionk with another 2-point night. We spoke about him in the video earlier today. He had a phenomenal night both offensively and a solid night defensively. But when you're looking at this game, and if you're a Jets fan, you watch the Winnipeg Jets go out there and have Cole Perfetti single-handedly at the end of the game, and obviously the whole team effort, beat the Calgary Flames. Then you change the channel and you get to see the Toronto Maple Leafs lose a devastating overtime game against the Boston Bruins. Things are looking good for the Jets. And not only that, Darius, Dylan Sandberg, I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to keep bringing him up. He had, and if you look at the actual, the advanced analytics for today's game, the actual charts, Dylan Sandberg was the second best player according to those charts, the impact scorecard on the Winnipeg Jets, with Neil Pionk being number 1. And a lot of that reason is because the team defense was phenomenal. It has been for the last very long time. Obviously, Mason Appleton and Adam Lowry are up there because they're playing great defensively as well. The penalty kill is something that has been unreal to start the year, and it continued tonight. And I think a big part of that is, of course, Dylan Sandberg and a lot of the blue line guys. But even the forwards are getting involved in the PK. The penalty kill was another shining star of tonight's game. So I just want to give a shout out to that because watching the game, like, you look at this penalty kill, it is structured, and I'm got to give a shout out. The Winnipeg Jets coaching staff have the Jets playing a phenomenal brand of hockey that is just clearly working, and it's opened up Cole Perfetti as well, and maybe Sean Monahan and Tyler Toffoli, all those guys, specifically Sean Monahan parting made a big impact on Perfetti and opened things up for the first time in his career, really.
Yeah, and I mean the penalty kill, like you mentioned, brilliant, right? And it has been very good. But not just the penalty kill; it's the special teams as a whole. The power play again tonight coming up big, especially in a big situation late there in the third period. And I mean, you're getting really big performances from your big players, right? And that's exactly what you want if you're the Winnipeg Jets. Nikolai Ehlers again coming up big. Kyle Connor with a great goal. Cole Perfetti, right? Great shot there late in the third on the power play. I mean, just you can't stop it. You just can't stop that shot. So it was great to see for Jets fans. And 8-0-0 on the season, and even the Twitter account is having fun with this even tonight. Like they tweeted this out that the 82-0 dream lives on, and that was October 11th. It is now October 26th at the time of this recording, and they are still on the the trek there for 82-0. So again, I'll bring it up again. 8 players here with that are a point a game player, and Mason Appleton on this list, by the way, which is pretty crazy. And right under this with 7 points, Adam Lowry as well, the captain, leading the way. So they have the depth. We talked about it in a video earlier. They have the depth, right? And they have the scoring right now. They obviously have always had the goaltender, and you have some decent depth in terms of backup goaltender, who obviously got the job done today when it mattered most. It was a tight game. They ended up winning. So, and they're doing this against pretty good teams too, right? So this is a really good story for the Winnipeg Jets and their fans so far this season, and their quest continues. I mean, they're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are having a really hard time coming up here on Monday night, and the Jets are rolling. I would not change a thing about their lineup, and it looks like they might be on their way to 9-0 at this point. But Nick, I don't know if you have any final thoughts about the team, but they're rolling right now, and the stats are there. Everything is there. The vibes are very high in Winnipeg.
Yeah, and coming into the game with the bigger storylines, at least from the Flames' perspective, was how good Dustin Wolf has been playing. He had a great game up until the very end there. I mean, the Jets are piling on the best team in the NHL right now, the Winnipeg Jets, obviously, and they tons of shots on goal. I mean, taking shots from Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, all these different guys. Shout out to Kyle Connor, great game from him. But Dustin Wolf, I just want to give a quick shout out to him. He stood on his head for a while there. Obviously, he ended up giving up a key goal to Cole Perfetti, but just a quick shout out to him. Got to give credit where it's due there. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. They made Dustin Wolf work, and as a result, they won the game. And there's not many negatives to take from this game. The penalty kill was great. It was a sloppy game on both sides. The Jets, did not play their best game by any means, and really neither did the Flames. But a lot of fluky stuff. And earlier in the game, Comrie let in a couple of easy ones, and a lot of fans, were concerned. We're saying, hey, Eric Comrie out there, is he a serviceable? Is he good enough to be a back row? He made some huge saves down the stretch. And again, he's no Connor Hellebuck. No one's going to beat Connor Hellebuck in the NHL, but he kept them in the game. And for this Winnipeg Jets team right now, if you keep them in the game and give up less than 3 or 4 goals, this team is going to most likely get the win, especially with the way things are rolling. So shout out to the shout out to Eric Comrie for, after the initial rough go, standing on his head. And it's always hard going from, Connor Hellebuck to Eric Comrie, but he did his job. Wasn't great. Who knows if he's going to be super serviceable the rest of the year, but an okay start. And the Jets keep on going, and they have a big one on Monday against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and what's going to be some must-watch TV, as they attempt to get to the 11-0 plateau.
Yeah, 11-0 would be the record, and it's going to be really interesting to watch because a couple tough games coming up for the Winnipeg Jets as well. I mean, every game is going to be tough here as fatigue starts to kick in as well. You have, there's a lot of pressure to continue playing at the clip that they are playing at right now. But I think, what? If you're the Winnipeg Jets and their fans, I mean, you're feeling pretty good about your game right now, right? So much to like all throughout the lineup. Like I said, the depth is there. I love, Gabe Vilardi up there with the top line, like gives them a little bit of an edge up there too. And the depth throughout the entire lineup, just the way they've kind of configured their lines, everybody is really meshing with each other, and some great performance. Like Dylan Sandberg, I don't know if too many people coming into this season were expecting him to put up this performance. And Neil Pionk too. Like I think I kept saying, right, like he's been the butt end of some jokes from Jets fans, but he's been really good this season. And again, Hellebuck, Comrie holding the fort down, and the Jets are off to a great start this season. They only need 3 more for the record.
Yeah, and if they can get that, that would be something that not a lot of Jets fans expected coming into this season. But let us know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on all of this. Obviously, Darius, it's going to be a very interesting time to be a Winnipeg Jets fan. And hopefully, if you're the Jets, they can go ahead and take care of business. Again, Connor Hellebuck has the net on Monday night, and he is going to be back. But let us know what your thoughts are down below. If you are enjoying the Winnipeg Jets content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you tomorrow.